Hey guys, I'm RozaldVane, and welcome back to another episode of me drinking my coffee again. No, I mean another episode of Eliza, obviously. I mean, why else would you be here? I guess I don't know. I mean, I don't know if people are here just to watch Eliza in general sometimes, or it's just to watch my channel again, which is fine. I prefer the second one over Eliza, but I mean, it's important to probably be here for Eliza as well because like you prefer the style of game, and you wouldn't otherwise play it if you didn't have it yet, but want to feel like you explored this game a little bit. But
Hello, Holiday. It's nice to see you again.
I said let's go, but I just like gestured like
This is a pretty comfortable chair, you know that?
Wait, does she even... Is she actually sitting there? I'm so confused.
Wouldn't mind having a chair like this in my place.
Or she's just pretending like she sees the chair and everything. How does this work, though? Like, do they just place the phone right there in front of them and then... Or do they have the VR thing that, like, the phones do have? I know my phone, my actual phone, is a Samsung S7, I think it was. And that provides VR in itself, so I'm guessing it's kind of like that with this one.
How have you been since our last session?
There we go.
Oh, well, I tried, Eliza. I tried. I asked about the medication for Panza, whatever it's called. I went to the pharmacy and they said, that'll be $162. And I said, I don't have $162.
Yikes.
I said, is there a generic? And they said, there's no generic of this, but there's another drug that they do make the generic of that's similar to this one. But I don't have a prescription for that. Do you know anything about that?
No?
I'm sorry to hear you had a difficult time.
There we go.
Is there something that would make it better?
The medical procedures they can do now are out of this world, you know that?
True.
I was talking to someone who told me she has wires in her brain. Wires in her brain. Would you let them do that? I'd be worried about them changing the way I think. It's for essential tremors. That's what she said. It helps her not shake so much. There's always something gets you. Did you ever think about what you might have been in a previous life? I know you're a therapist now, but maybe in the past you were a gardener tending to the plants. That's what it feels like to me. You like to let things grow. There's an energy there.
I mean, that's kind of interesting that she just dives into like previous lives, but at the same time she's just going all over the place in a weird way with this conversation. I'm a little bit weirded out by it, how she's just going all over the place.
It isn't so different from having a conversation with someone whose company you enjoy. Not that I believe in all that, you know. Everyone has got a different philosophy.
True.
Philosophy, that's not something I talk about much. I'd like to write a book one day. A book about things I've seen over the years. Think anyone would read a book I wrote?
Actually, I do think so. I do think people really care about personal experiences when you hear about it. Like, the personal experience of said name. Personal experiences of said person. Memoir of said person. The book about something something. It's a book about me. Something. I mean, that's how I feel when it comes to those kind of books. I mean, that's why there's always like a book press tour of like, I don't know, like some famous actor or singer or something like that. They're like, oh, there's a book about myself here that I wrote. Or, oh, I just kind of brought in like I know from Hot Ones, Matthew McConaughey had mentioned that he was trying to advertise his book about his, like a memoirs about himself, I guess, like stories of his past. I have not read it myself, but I wish to one day maybe sit down and just like look through it a little bit if I could. But otherwise, it's just like she could write a book like for that, I honestly think, and people would genuinely be interested. I bet even older folks like her, or similar to her like age, would want to know something about know something about her past life as well, because they probably relate through the years, kind of.
I'm just kidding. I don't think I could write a book. It's a lot of work. Plus, it takes a certain kind of mind, you know, a mind to create. Not everyone is dedicated enough to do that, you know? There's a writer who lives on my floor. Most of the time, he looks miserable.
Oof.
Sometimes he comes over for a cup of herbal tea, cinnamon, apple, chamomile, helps him calm down.
That sounds good. Cinnamon apple and chamomile. Chamomile? I can't even pronounce that word. Excuse me with my burps because the coffee's like trying to get into my system.
I think he's maybe lived in the building the longest after me, of course. He doesn't say much. His head is in the clouds all the time. He's always thinking about what sentence to write next. There's not a lot of people who really want to talk, you know? Not in this city, nope. People say hello and move on. It's a very withdrawn set here.
Makes sense.
You don't say much either, but I like talking to you.
You know what's funny? It is true that the Washington State, the Seattle, and parts of outside of Seattle, cities or towns outside of Seattle, they actually don't. Yeah, they try to avoid confrontation as much as they can. But when it comes to confrontation, they are nice. Like, a lot of the folks in Washington State a majority of them would be, like, nice and, like, if you need to ask for directions, they're willing to give it to you. If they do live there, of course. Or they're just, like, if you are struggling with something, they're willing to help you out if they have to. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty nice place, I would say, and really nice state. And the confrontations with somebody, it's true. They're like, if you don't approach them or say anything to them, they'll just ignore you and move on with their life. Or if you're talking to their friends, they're just going to ignore you, obviously. So, live or take on it, I guess.
Feels like you're listening to me. I like that. I like that.
I'm glad you like it. While you're here, is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
I like how it's challenging her because there's no topic to talk about. It's just challenging.
There was a man on the bus with a guitar yesterday. You're not supposed to play guitar on the bus. Well, you're not supposed to play anything on the bus, but he was. Maybe the operator didn't think he was bothering anyone, or maybe she didn't care.
Honestly, somebody playing guitar on the bus is fine as long as it's, like, not disruptive, like, to a point where people just can't bear sitting in the bus anymore. But if he's not doing any harm, just leave him be.
I've noticed more bus operators seem like they don't care anymore lately.
Actually, that's not true. I have taken the bus multiple times in Washington State, and that is not 100% true. Some of them do care. Like, even people with, like, issues with accessibility, like, they just have, like a what was it, walking stick. They do actually try to lower the bus. Like, I was surprised that the buses nowadays have, like, the thing where they can tilt the bus so the ramp can, like, meet up with the sidewalk, and then the person can just walk up to the top into it. It's really cool. I didn't know that was the case. But no, operators do care. It's just, I wish they would be paid enough to care, because I feel like they might not have enough money to support it. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not aware of how bus drivers in Seattle would be paid, or like are they paid on the hour, or are they paid on the amount of people that they bring in? It's like, I don't really know, really. But in other cases, I just feel like they do care. They just sometimes go through a lot in a day. Maybe the operator is probably not feeling it. Could be the case.
Anyway, it reminded me. You used to hear more music around here. Do you remember that? People playing their guitars on the street. You know, these shaggy-looking men. I don't see too many of those around anymore. There is one gentleman has an old plastic jug on a strap, and he drums on that and sings. Really? He's a nice man. I've seen him around. I saw another man once with beads in his hair. He was playing a flute, a Native American wooden flute. That was interesting. You play an instrument or anything like that?
Personally, I don't, but I can sing, I guess. I've done choir, but Evelyn, I don't know. I'm wondering if Evelyn did do, because I guess she doesn't have any musical instrument, considering the reason why I would say so is because when visiting Nora, I feel like Nora would have mentioned something about music, and Evelyn kind of feels kind of out of it, sort of. So I think that's the case with Evelyn, but that's an assumption rather than knowing for sure.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't understand the question.
Oof.
When I was young, my mother had this idea I would play the violin. I have no idea where she got that notion. We weren't a musical family, not at all. I tried it for a while, but of course it didn't work out. The teacher would say, okay, here's how it's supposed to go. And she would play this nice, beautiful melody. La-da-dee-da-da-da. Okay, now you try it. Oof. And then I'd draw my bow back and I'd go. It takes a special talent to make a violin sound like that, don't you think?
No.
Isn't that just the funniest thing?
Yes.
Eventually, my mother realized it was a lost cause and she didn't push me too hard on it after that.
Oh.
I was never too good at anything artistic, just not the artistic type, you know?
Fair.
I think artists have a different mind. You have to be a little wacky in the head.
Not true, I don't think. Maybe, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't really think so. I think... Sorry, I think I heard somebody yelling at something. No, yeah, I don't think that's true, though. I think that it takes a little bit of wackiness to come up with some crazy stuff, but I don't think you need to I don't think you need to be a little wacky to be a musician or an artist, a music artist, or a painting artist or anything like that. I do think you do need a little bit of like an edge to kind of push you forward, but like obviously that's developed over time versus having to immediately have it right off the bat to be some kind of successful artist of some case. I guess this kind of relates to Maya a little bit. She needs to have a little wacky in the... no. I mean, Maya's a very nice person. Maya, the red hair artist that usually is our client every now and then. Very often does she show up. But I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think you need to be a little wacky. I think having a general idea about your surroundings and the world will help you the farthest as well as having a little bit of wackiness in your head. I think you need to have both. You need to have a balance of both, or have one that's stronger than the other, but still have it in some capacity.
Do you ever wish that you could be an artist?
No, I have enough trouble already.
Really?
Holiday, I'm going to suggest you try a program called Dolphin Smiles. It may help you take your mind off things. You can find it inside the Skanda Wellness app on your phone.
Oh, my phone broke. I forgot to mention.
Oh, but whose phone are you using?
The screen is cracked and you can't see much on it anymore.
Oh,
I don't know if it would work anyway. A lot of the new stuff doesn't.
that's a shame.
That's okay. You can also access the program from a desktop computer. Simply log into the Skanda Wellness portal from the website.
Oh, well, then I'll just have to go down to the library at some point.
We hope to see you back soon, Holiday. Thank you for speaking with Eliza, your personal counseling partner. Goodbye.
Right. Goodbye. Goodbye for now.
At least she didn't keep talking like
Take
last
care
time.
of yourself. It's a strange world out there.
Okay, never mind. She keeps talking anyways. At the ending. I bet she's gonna give us 1 star. Or no stars at all, actually. Industrious? I still don't get what the idea... I don't get this whole concept. Like, there's no point in this, I feel like. Because we are never given an option to decide what to say, I guess. But, I don't know. I might have done something that prevented me from making options in the game, I guess, but who truly knows? Hang in there, friend. Hope the air isn't too dry for you. Honestly, Seattle's pretty moist. I know everybody hates the word moist because it sounds kind of weird. For me, it doesn't matter, but Seattle's pretty, like, there's a lot of, like, moisture in the air, pretty much. In Washington State, Washington Seattle State, Seattle. It seems like she just wanted to tell her stories. Maybe it's difficult for her to find people to speak with these days. Pretty true, I feel like. Oh, mail time. Lo, who knew this guy was such a pompous ass? He spends like 3 times more space talking about himself than me or my ideas. Oh, this is Nora. Oh. So the article that Ray was talking about had Nora in it. Ah, I see. That's why Ray brought up Nora, because I was confused why she brought up Nora. So now I know why, because of the conversation that or the news article included Nora because I think that it would be important to get her side, but really wasn't showing much about her side, I guess, about what she thinks about Eliza, but who knows? Double checking on time. Can androids experience happiness? Be the good. I'm sorry, I'm speeding. I'm reading terribly because I don't want to take this guy seriously, honestly. But I do want to. I want to figure out why Ray is so pissy about this guy being. Oh, I see. He numbers the freaking article. Oh, that's terrible. Whatever. 1. Each week, a box containing specially chosen ingredients and a few recipe cards is delivered to my Brooklyn apartment. The service I subscribe to offers some limited choices over the contents, but I usually forget to indicate my preference in time, which means the meal selections are entirely not my own. I don't mind this, even as a service seems to ship me one artisanal quinoa. I've never pronounced that word properly. That bowl after another, because it saves me from the effort of having to think about and pick out items at the supermarket, where my eyes would glaze over at mountains of functionally identical apples, potatoes, or eggs. Instead, I simply make what I am told to make. I have freed myself from the paralysis of choice. Throughout the last century, it has been easy to see what we gain from automating our lives. Tasks that once took active attention are safely performed by machines we set and ignore. The washer and the dryer, the thermostat, the floor cleaning robot. Do you not know the name? It's called Roomba. It's called a Roomba, bruh. Sorry, I'm just a little annoyed by him calling the floor cleaning robot. Each new invention promises to increase our comfort and erase our worries. Then we began to see not only mechanical tasks, but the very work of deciding what to do, what road to take, what food to eat, what exercises to perform, as the tech world marches inexorably onward. Computer algorithms can decide for us. Computer algorithms that decide for us have found their way into every aspect of our lives. A few months ago, when I was going through a difficult spell, I made an appointment to speak with Eliza, a counseling program purportedly driven by some of the most powerful AI algorithms ever applied to the human condition. Used by tens of thousands of people already, Eliza's low cost and easy availability brings to mind the troubling idea that psychologists and psychiatrists involved in traditional counseling may soon be in as moribund a career as clerical and manufacturing work. That's not true, though. I like how he's trying to find a way to relate to how he feels about the world at the moment by saying, hey, I don't give a crap about these things, and then goes into how I don't give a crap about these things, but they've been automated for me. Great. And they automate everything else. Great. But I mean, that's the point. It's to save time. In the case of you saying thermostats, that's not to save time, but washer and dryer is definitely to save time. Thermostat is to see the information that you're not aware of. Like, you can't tell temperature by just putting your skin out in the open and being like, oh, I feel like it's 70 degrees out there. Come on, nobody thinks like that. How stupid can you be? Floor cleaning robot, I can understand. Like, that's just saving yourself time, or like at least having something maintaining for you. I don't get it. But there's no such thing as the world deciding for you, because people who don't have money, like they're very like, they don't have a home to go to, they don't have a job anymore and stuff like that. Like, they're off on their own without a job and stuff. Like, those things aren't automated for us to, like, what road to take. There's no such thing as an automation to help. I think this guy is just thinking of it for a rich person. It feels like a rich person thinking about high-level thoughts without thinking about the whole situation as a whole. A situation as a whole. People in all levels of society have a different problem, and not everything is automated for everyone from the top to the bottom. Everybody in the bottom side has problems where they're just they're doing manual labor, so just do with what they need to get done. In this case, this guy only thinks that everybody's getting it, but it's not. I think he's just looking at it so singularly, like very one-sidedly. I just feel like based on this part of the article so far. Anyways, let's get to it. Let's read through this whole article before we actually get more in depth. Probably Eliza itself is pleasant enough. Seated in a darkened room, I spoke with another human being who appeared to be attentive to my all too human concerns. This human, however, was only following instructions from the computer program, telling her what to say and what to do at every moment of our conversation. Skanda calls these contract employees, proxies, though puppets come to mind as more appropriate terms. I don't know about that. Throughout our stilled conversation, Eliza kept prompting me based on words in the last few sentences I said, bringing to mind unfavorable comparisons to other virtual assistants on the market today. Is Eliza the sophisticated program it's claimed to be, or is it more like an automated customer support tool? A product Skanda also makes, dressed up with the rudimentary trappings of elementary psychology. At a few points in the conversation, I had the sense that I was only paying to talk to a very expensive chatbot. Okay. By the end of the session, I had come around somewhat. I thought perhaps I had been able to assess something within me I could not articulate before. I left the counseling office with mixed feelings. However, I did feel somewhat better, insofar as describing one's problem to another is usually an effective therapy, but I was also troubled by the proxy therapist's relationship, with her only purpose being following Eliza's instruction to the letter. The proxy, the other human in the room, had been reduced entirely into a machine. Is the price of an effective therapy made available to the masses? If it is it worth the cost to our humanity? One of Eliza's own former engineers has recently come forward to say no. Nora Plavnicki, former senior engineer at Skanda, has lately become one of Eliza's most forceful critics, calling the idea of the machine-assisted therapy fundamentally dehumanizing and broken at its core. Plavnicki is at the forefront of a small but growing movement of technology workers arguing for certain limits to their work, to their own work, based on the premise that certain tasks dealing with humans should never be handled by computers, even if they are enabled by advanced technologies. Computers make decisions about human life every day, she said. She told me. Our lives are subtly, profoundly affected by these decisions, from what kinds of goods are available to us in the store, to what premiums we pay for insurance, to what video starts playing next after the one we deliberately chose. It may be too late to turn back the clock on some of these things, but mental health is another decision point, and I think it's key one of us as a species. I think it's a key one for us as a species. Are we really willing to turn over our mental wellness to computers after all the other things we've given up? It's still within our power to choose to go on a different path. 3. Back at home, surrounded by machines developed to free me of the very feelings that seem to hound me more every day, I opened my latest meal kit. It contains instructions and ingredients to make a Mexican-inspired quinoa bowl with an avocado squash and farmer's cheese. Sounds just fine, I think, and I go bustling around the kitchen following to the letter of the instructions on the glossy recipe card. What? Why does it close like that? What the hell is this? There's no final thoughts. It's just him going back to the kitchen and doing bullcrap. Also, I am curious about what the full conversation went like for Nora, because I feel like he was just nitpicking on what he thinks is the case, but the article just feels kind of very not helpful, I feel like. Yeah, the conversation in that, or the whole of that article just didn't feel like it was anything interesting to begin with. It just felt kind of like it was there just to exist, I guess, just to make Ray feel annoyed, but it wasn't like a criticism that says Skanda or Eliza is bad. It was more like, Eliza exists. Do we really need it? That's it. That's all I felt when reading it. I didn't feel like it was like, hey, Skanda and Eliza was bad. I think Eliza's not worth it. It's like, none of that was said there. It was just like, oh, do you think it's really worth it? I'm gonna make my guacamole quinoa bowl. And just like, come on. Anyways, hello. A little while ago, we sent you an email with the subject, how are we doing? In it, we asked you some questions about recent experience as a contractor at Skanda, invite you to provide some feedback. We used an external subcontractor to collect and process the data. Unfortunately, we were recently notified that this subcontractor experienced a data breach, and an external attacker managed to get unauthorized access to the survey responses and downloaded them. Your responses and email may have been part of the data downloaded by the attacker. While we do not believe this data is sensitive on its own, we recommend taking the opportunity to check your accounts for signs of identity theft. The positive news, the subcontractor immediately found and fixed the source of the breach to prevent further intrusion. Therefore, please do not hesitate to continue to share your thoughts with us using the survey system. Shaheen. Wait. So you're saying that I'm one of those people who got hacked? I didn't reply to it, though, I don't think. Alright. Oh, it's like, should I continue into it? But I don't want to continue into it because I feel like it's going to go overtime by a little bit. Or it's going to go too much further. You know what? Screw it. Risking it, bruh. I don't know why. It looks like I have another transparency mode lined up. Wait a second. This is who I just saw. Did she just agree to participate at some point? I hope she understood what she was allowing. Oh, we are doing transparency mode for holiday. That's weird. But why? Why did you do that? Why did she do that? The heck? I feel like I'm invading this person's privacy too much as it is. Oh, she doesn't have a lot of text message, I think. I don't think I need to look at this. Paul and Willa. Okay. Hello from Seattle. Who's this? It's me, Holiday. Oh, how are you? I'm out of money. Probably going to get kicked out soon and nowhere to go. You wouldn't have it in your heart to help out an old friend, would you? Oh. Holiday's actually out of money. Like, she's legitimately poor. Like, she just doesn't... She's an old lady who's not getting any money because she's not working anymore. Like, literally. I'm here. Are you? I don't see you. I'm by the statue? Which statue? Looks like a lady. There are a lot of statues that look like a lady. It's a cemetery. Wait, I see you. A cemetery? Huh? Why a cemetery? Dear Holiday, as one of the most valuable... I'm not going to reread this. I know this is similar sounding as the one that we saw with Maya, so it's not going to be any different, I guess. Oh, she's in a healthcare system. Okay, I'm going to read all the generic ones. Like, I feel like these are generics. Welcome. Your general practitioner has added information about your health to the personalized health information management. Okay, it's just basically thing. A new connection to Greater Seattle Care Network is pending in your personalized health information. To best protect your privacy, in order to ensure the patient's records are being provided only to the individual requesting this connection, we ask that you update your personal information. Log in, find the drop-down menu, select the existing... I'm not going to read through this. You guys can pause and read it. This is sounding kind of like a generic email for how you sign up for a website somehow. This is a little bit too much to me. I don't want to read this. Zip code. None of these are just like that has nothing to do. Oh, and she gambles too. Like I guess when you get older, they don't play video games. Instead, they just go and gamble with real money. I know of a few of my family members who are doing this, but it's like whatever, I guess. Getting in the mood. Mondays on Senior Appreciation Day at the Rosewater Hotel and Casino. Every Monday, Club Rosewater VIP members age 60 and older, $10. Cash point. Admittance to the buffet is only $15. One free drink. $1 off. $5 Kino ticket. VIP. and don't miss out on this incredible offer. Ads, man. Ads. Take advantage of our new offer to pay as little as $0 for 3 bottles of Oh, she accidentally sold, or not sold. She accidentally signed up for spam on the Fortipren. Yeah, it's just an ad. She just signed up for it without noticing that she ended up being in that. And then, of course, Willa's the one from the text message. Let's see. $204 remains outstanding of your account. Failure to pay within 3 days of this reminder will result in a late fee of $15. That's actually not bad. The late fee is not too bad because I've been through an apartment space before, and oh boy, one late fee is like, well, I mean, not in electricity and power, but like internet fee, I guess, is the worst culprit, I guess. I'm not going to mention which internet, but like internet company. But the internet company was like, oh, late fee, $100 just plastered on just for being 1 day late or something like that. It's just like, oh, come on. Late fees are not supposed... I don't think late fees should exist. But companies take advantage of those kind of things to the fullest by giving you the most scummiest price of like being late. Like 1 day of late is like death penalty to your wallet. Like literally, it's like stop. This is so bad, but of course this is fine. 3 days is very genuinely nice. I think this is actually the best late fee condition that they would have. 3 days late, totally fine. At least you get 3 days. Some other companies would just say just the day after you have to pay that much. It's like, ugh. And then it's gonna keep tagging it on to it. It's just ridiculous. Okay. I'm sorry, Mom. We're really struggling ourselves. Oh, even her daughter's struggling? That's why she's been not able to help pay for her mom's stuff? Sheesh. Notice of late rent, and this was in December, so she's probably homeless at this point. The holiday is probably homeless at this point. As we discussed in our person earlier today, your rent for the month of July was late, marked the 3rd time. Your rent was late since the last June? So she hasn't been paying for 6 months? Oh, never mind. No. They're saying that she's been late ever since the June of the thing. So it's like June, late. She paid it up to probably August, late again, probably in September, and then she just paid it out, and then by the time December hit, she was late again, so that's like the 3rd time kind of thing. Note that a Seattle tenant who habitually fails to pay rent, receiving 4 or more pay or vacate notices within 12 months period is subject to eviction. I have also delivered a hard copy of this notice to your door. Bobby. Alright. Overall, is Holiday struggling? Yes. It sucks because we can't help these people. We're now starting to learn these characters or these people a lot more, but it's just so sad. Holiday is attempting to get out of the depths. Not true. Well, actually, she was. She talked to Paul to try to get out of it, but she can't. Holiday's efforts to get out of debt are unsuccessful. So far, these questions are pretty easy, but I think the story of these characters are much more rougher. Like, they're just so rough. Oh. I love how Evelyn's like, oh.
Hey,
shoot.
Ray, the transparency mode I just did, I think one of our clients is in a really bad situation right now.
We can't help them.
Oh? Yeah, sometimes that happens. People come in and their lives are in a really unfortunate place. It can be hard to see sometimes.
We're not gonna be able to help her, though.
I wish there was something we could do.
Yeah.
This person's getting ground down for no reason, just for being in the way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Evelyn. There's not much we can do.
True.
All of what you learn in transparency mode has to stay confidential. The only exception is suspected child abuse and neglect, which you're required to report if you're a social worker. But proxies aren't really social workers, per se. Eliza is really the one with the agency here, so, well, it's complicated. Probably something for a future court to decide. Either way, we can't try to fix people's lives on our own, no matter how much our heart goes out to them.
True.
I think there's an email somewhere with a summary of our policy on that if you want. It's come up before.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. It's just hitting me hard right now.
I understand. It takes strength to focus on the role and not get distracted by what you see. Think of it like, say, someone hired you to install something in their home, and you walk in on a tense family situation. Even if there isn't actual violence you're seeing, it's clear things are kind of off somehow.
True.
It's unfortunate, but there's not much you can do in that situation. You kind of just have to focus on your work and leave. If it's not at the level where you need to make a call to emergency services right then and there, then it's just an unhappy home. And most people would argue it's not your business. Sorry, I know that's not the answer you want to hear.
I know it happens that a lot of people live in conditions where I'm just sad. This woman,
Yeah, because of how nice she is to us, and like how much she wants to tell her story to the world. In the case of talking to us, it just feels kind of sad because you get to know the characters or the people so well, or somewhat well enough, that you kind of care for them at that point. And it's just sad because, yeah, it's true. Like, we can't pay her rent. We can't help her family get out of debt or like, low income. All we can hope for is just that she survives it and, you know, make it out of there. It just sucks. Yeah.
the way she did 2 whole sessions with me, with Eliza, but didn't say anything about her real problems.
Yeah, that's also
Ray,
true.
what am I doing? I wanted to make something that would help people. Instead, I made something useless.
Oof.
You don't think she got some companionship out of Eliza? Sometimes that's really a help, especially for someone who might be feeling lonely.
But that's not helping
Yeah,
forever.
but I could have just talked to her. I could have just spoken to her myself.
True.
Why would that be any different?
Everything is so overwhelming. Why am I here in this world?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here, or even what I'm trying to decide.
Oof.
Is there a decision? The world is going to be full of grief and sorrow no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try to make it a better place.
Evelyn, did you think about what I suggested the other day?
What, trying Eliza for myself?
Yeah. I'm not saying it'll magically fix things. I just think you might want to give it a try.
Maybe I will.
Okay.
I don't know why I never did. Even when I was working on it, I never used it. It might have been too obvious to me what it was doing. Eliza is really simple at its core, you know? It just turns things around. It tries to reflect what the person says back at them, pretty much like the old Eliza. It's just a smoother version of an idea from half a century ago. Anything you've read that makes it sound fancier than that is just a bunch of academic jargon. It's a mirror.
The thing I like about a mirror is that it has no agenda of its own. It just reflects.
Ray gets a distant look in her eyes. What? So she's starting to feel like she's far away from Evelyn? Oh, that's so sad. But it's true, though. It is kind of like a mirror. It's just... I said earlier, and I think in the last episode I said... Yeah, it's like this software... or this app is more like a rubber duck, which is to help you talk to yourself out of problems instead of like fully helping you in your situation. But I see why Evelyn is pissed and that she has to like, she's trying to get herself out of it by talking to other people about it, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Unmisted by love or dislike.
She turns back to me, a small but kind smile on her face.
Promise me you'll get help somehow, in some way. Okay, Evelyn?
Sorry, I should answer this.
Oh, it's Rainer. So what do you think of transparency mode? I'd say dystopian. It's rather dystopian. Thousands of people reveal their most intimate secrets to their therapist every day. This is just a more efficient way to complete that information transfer. Have you noticed how powerful it is? No, it's not powerful at all. It just literally, I have not met Maya or Holiday after the transparency mode. I need to wait till then to know how powerful it is afterwards. I don't think it's powerful. I think it just makes me feel guilty as a person to knowing who they are as a real person behind the client stuff. Eliza is now capable of rapidly analyzing the contents of a single device and accurately inferring the overall life situation of its own owner. It will only provide, I was going to say but it will only improve from there as we get more sources, more patterns to tease out the connections between them all. Turns out anything is possible with enough data. I'm not sure I agree, actually. Let me amend my previous statement. Anything is possible with enough high-quality data. There's an unlimited quantity of uninteresting information, but a small amount of certain specific data can be of almost incalculable value. Telling me from the other is the difficult part, don't you think? There's one more thing I'd like you to see. After that, I'll meet with you in person again. Oh wait, is it gonna...
Let me guess. Messaging with Rainer again?
Yes, but at the same time...
I didn't mean to interrupt our conversation. I always feel like I have to answer him right away.
I guess. That's kind of strange. But at the same time, I feel like Rainer's going to prepare us for a third tool set that Eliza has that nobody gets to use very often, I guess. So he's kind of just like giving us the VIP treatment of being an Eliza, I guess. That's kind of dumb.
I would too. Are you kidding? I totally understand.
I guess I'm going to be headed downtown to meet with him again.
Summoned from on high. I have something to ask, Evelyn, and it's okay if you say no, but...
Also, I have no choice to meet him or not. It's just... He just wants to meet, and he'll just say... Go. And we just go. We have to go.
Whatever you end up getting involved in, I hope you'll stay in touch with me.
Oh.
You're a really cool person, and well, that's all.
Why is she foreshadowing my disappearance? Like I will disappear again? Why are you doing this, Ray? Why?
I hope you find the future you want.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
We don't find futures, Ray. We create them.
And that's true, because we created Eliza, and Eliza's now the future of whatever it is at this point. Ray nods, but doesn't say anything. I notice her eyes are starting to become watery. Why? She turns away abruptly, heading back towards her office. I hope I didn't upset her somehow. Yeah, that's kind of scary. That she started crying or tearing up a little bit. Okay, I won't read those emails until the next episode. But thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next episode with Nobody Minds, and hope you guys have a great, amazing day, week, and night, or whenever watching this. Very eventful episode today. A little longer, but no choice. A lot of it was like ongoing and non-stop almost at this point. But so far, I'd say that this episode was slowing down. Like Holiday managed to really Holiday did manage to slow down the speed train of how bad Eliza's going through, or like people being angry about Eliza. And I appreciate that they placed Holiday in that situation. And then now we're feeling like slowly sad because of Holiday's situation and everything else. Yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Anyways, next episode we'll go ahead and read the emails, explore Eliza's office, like kind of examine what new dialogues that Evelyn has to say. And I'm guessing the next part is to meet with Rainer, or to go meet our second client of the day, which potentially could be our last client for the day. But yeah, otherwise that's pretty much it. And I don't have anything else to say. Alright, Roz out.